Welcome to the channel. We made a trip to Kauai, one of the islands of Hawaii. It's called the Garden Island, and it is crazy tropical. I haven't been to all the islands, but compared to Maui and Oahu, I would say it's much more lush. They get a lot more rain. Some of the places that we went on this trip we've been to before, and some we haven't. So I wanted to share it with you. Normally we stay on the north side of the island the few times that we've been to Kauai, and this time we stayed on the south side. We did a lot of snorkeling. We had to rent some equipment. We didn't bring any with us, and that wasn't too expensive. We would often snorkel 2 times a day. We saw a lot of turtles and we saw a lot of fish. I don't know how healthy this coral is because it was really pretty brown, but we did see the turtles feeding off the coral, and so were the fish. I know that they've had problems with bleaching here in Kauai, and also something called a black band disease. But supposedly the coral has been making a comeback, but certainly it's not colorful looking. If it's not dead, it at least doesn't look too great. But we still, like I said, saw a lot of fish and turtles. Some of the video of the turtles probably makes it look like we got a lot closer than we did, and you're definitely supposed to keep your distance from them. I used a GoPro, and you can't do a zoom on a GoPro shooting at least wide angle and 4K, but I'm able to crop it in a Final Cut Pro when I do the editing, so it makes it look like we were a lot closer than we actually were. Poipu Beach is basically where we went snorkeling while we were there for the 2 weeks because it was really close to where we were staying, and the beach wasn't too crowded there. We would go early in the morning, and we would often go again in the afternoon. So we really enjoyed Poipu. In addition to keeping your distance from the turtles, you also want to avoid touching or stepping on the coral because that's going to damage or kill the coral as well. We really enjoyed Poipu Beach, and we spent a ton of time there, and we definitely go back. We did go a little north of Poipu Beach to a location that actually had more turtles than Poipu did. It was all in a really small area over by a wall, and on the other side of that wall was a restaurant actually, but you'd see 3 or 4 turtles at a time there, really close to the beach. And I would just stick the GoPro stick into the water, and I think I only got 2 turtles in this video, but there were times where there were 3 or 4 there, really close together, really close to the beach, and you just see the swell pushing them back and forth while they're eating off the rocks or off the coral. Really cool. I can't stress enough, like if you've never been snorkeling near turtles, they're really beautiful. And as I said, we did keep our distance from them and try not to get too close. From sea to land, we did some ATV rentals at Kipu Ranch Adventures. It was a muddy day, but I think it's always muddy out there, so you do get a little bit of mud on you, but it is really tropical, and there's some great scenery out there. During the tour, they give you a lot of history about how the ranch got started and what movies were made on the ranch, and there were a lot of movies made on the ranch. They take you to locations like these falls, just a lot of beautiful places. Now, it was expensive. For the 3 of us, it was a little over $600, and that was the most expensive thing that we did while we were in Kauai. But I think it was worth it. I mean, the location, as you can see here, is amazing, and if you didn't do the tour, you wouldn't get to check out Kipu Ranch. We went to the Waimea Canyon lookout, and we've been to the lookout every time that we've been to Kauai, but it doesn't get old. It reminds me of the Grand Canyon. You're just awestruck by how amazing it is. It really is beautiful. I think another must experience on Kauai is the Wailua River. We've done this before a couple of times, but I don't get tired of it. I love paddleboarding, and I usually paddleboard at home a couple of times a week. So when we got there, I was missing paddleboarding, and I enjoyed getting out on the river. There are two places really that from where we went that are really quick access, and one is to the so-called Secret Falls. And as you can see here, there's a lot of people at Secret Falls, but it is a pretty hike getting there. And even though there's quite a few people at the base of the fall, it wasn't that crowded on the hike. Really enjoyable hike. After we left the falls, then we headed back to Fern Grotto. And the times that we've been to Fern Grotto, it's not busy at all. I think most people just kind of do a hard pass to that. And unless you're really interested in flowers, you're probably not going to get too much out of Fern Grotto. But we did make our way back over to Fern Grotto, and there was really nobody there. And checked it out. And hey, I do like flowers, so I enjoyed it. And it was a little windy. If you're not used to paddleboarding, you probably want to do a kayak. You're going to get blown around pretty good. I would say that the winds were blowing between 20 and 30 knots, at least gusts up to 30 knots. There were times that I was trying to paddle back into the wind to get the paddleboard back, and it was a real struggle to make any progress going forward. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, man, I was missing my paddleboard, so it was great to get out on the river and do a little paddleboarding in Kauai. We did something different that we haven't done before, and that was make a reservation at the Kauai Coffee Company for a tour. It was $25 a person. It's called Coffee on the Brain. They talk to you about the different methods of coffee and then walk you out and you can check out the farm, and they have some stuff up for demonstration in terms of drying and everything. We're really into coffee, so we thought it was interesting, but if you're not, this is probably not a place for you. Napali Coastline. We've done this hike a number of times and we love it. It's muddy, it's beautiful, and it's a good workout. You can take this trail, the Kalalau Trail, I think total 11 miles one way. We only take the couple of mile hike to the beach, but it's beautiful. Last but not least is food, and we did some good eating in Kauai. Did a lot of food trucks in Kauai. You know, they're popular in Kauai just like they are on the mainland, and they're relatively inexpensive. One of the places that we went to a lot was Kola. It's right from across from the main street, kind of where all the businesses are. There are a few food trucks there and a lot of chickens, which are fairly aggressive about trying to get your food. So what is that?
Tonkatsu ramen. And she got the... this is pork wonton ramen.
Pork wonton. So that is from Naruto Noodles. Favorite breakfast place, Tip Top Motel. We first ate there probably over 30 years ago, and it is a little motel with good food. And this place, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but we just discovered that this year and we really like it. Top expensive restaurant, probably tide pools at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on the south side, not far from Poipu. Really good. So we had a great time. We really enjoyed our time in Kauai, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like the video. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.